Hello and welcome back to another episode of Dragonstorm Draws. So last time around we looked at the eye and today we're doing the nose. And in both cases we're doing a front view because when people start out doing portraits, very often you want to draw someone looking right at the camera or at you. And that way you capture what they look like and you don't have to worry about, in particular with the nose, too many angles. So there's some terms again that we're going to go over very briefly. Bridge of the nose, that's pretty straightforward. The alae or ala are these little flappy bits that are on the sides. Apparently ala is Latin for wing, so these are literally your nose wings. The apex is the tip of the nose, and the philtrum is that little teardrop shaped thing down here. So we're going to go over how to do that. I just wanted to mention that today, for my example here, this entire nose was drawn just with the pencil and some smudging. So no other tools, but I'm going to show you today a tool which will make your job a lot easier for this particular drawing. And the reason we use a tool for this is that the nose has very few lines in it. There's an awful lot of shading on the nose, which makes sense because if you look at your nose in a mirror, there are no hard lines in the nose at all. So we're going to start with a drawer handle. And what I mean by that is if you think of many drawer handles, they have 2 points of contact and a loop for you to grab. So this shape right here is what we're going to start to draw with. So it's like a drawer handle. And we're just going to have it loop down like this. Almost like the side view of a tube, like a cutaway cross section. And then these ends are going to form little sideways teardrops. And that will create a nostril, like we had in our example there. Okay. Once you've got that on there, we can pretty much just stop with the pencil, except for adding a little bit more shading and that wonderful ala or alae on the sides here. I'm just going to shade the base of the nose a little bit. And then that flappy bit, that nose wing, kind of comes out just past the nostril and curves back in again. Just like that. And you're going to get lots of shadows in the bottom of the nose in particular, seeing as how the light is usually coming from above. All right, so then I'm going to take my trusty blending stomp. Now these things are literally a couple of cents each. Well, a couple, about 40 to 99 cents a piece. This is number 6. I like number 4s as well. They're a bit smaller, but this is what I've got right now. And you can buy them in packs as well. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Some are much bigger than others. So you've got lots of different sizes to choose from. I usually try to have one side for larger areas and one side for fine areas there. And for the rest of the nose, I'm literally just going to use this tool to smudge all of my little areas of shading and lines to create the illusion of depth. If we assume that the light, just like we did in our eye example, the light's coming from this direction, well, now we're going to have darker shading on the left because the light is coming from the right. And if you are left-handed, please feel free to switch that up. I find it easier to shade in the direction opposite my dominant hand. So that if that helps you out, very cool. At the apex, you usually get a little bit of a light reflection. So I'm going to leave that a little bit there. And then the bridge of the nose comes right up, like a puzzle piece almost, into where the eyebrow would be. And we saw that in the last video with drawing eyes. So you can almost imagine the eye fitting in here and here in the drawing. And we get a little bit of shading next to the eye, next to the nose as well. And some darker to the left in this case because the light's coming from the right and below. And that shading is going to lead right into the philtrum. And since we were talking about puzzle pieces anyways a moment ago, you can almost imagine the bottom of that philtrum, that teardrop shaped thing right here, being where the lips would come in. So it's really neat if you think of each individual part of the human face kind of being connected to another. Again, we can really nicely get that little light spot to show the ridges, the height of the philtrum right there with the blending stomp. So what I'd like to do is just kind of side by side compare how the drawing of the nose looks here with the blending stomp compared to the version I had here earlier. I'll try and get them both in the frame as best I can. And you can see that the blending stomp version just has a little bit of a smoother, nicer shading as opposed to the example here with the pencil, exclusively pencil. You can see a bit more of the lines I used. So this looks a little bit more natural perhaps. And that's pretty much it. Now again, your first attempt might not be perfect, and that's okay. I think back to my first couple of portraits and they were awful. I might have to pull a couple up to prove it to you. But that's drawing a nose. So what looks like one of the hardest parts of the face actually probably will be my shortest video. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, please leave them below in the comments. Please feel free, if you enjoyed the video, to like, share, and subscribe, all of that YouTube stuff. And thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye now.